BookTube, it is Nadine and welcome back to my channel, Widely Reading. And today I am going to do my first book tag, and it is the Hounds of Love book tag that was created by Aaron Read a Book, or Aaron Read a Book. And all of the prompts are based on the Kate Bush album, Hounds of Love. So let's start with the first one. The song is Running Up That Hill, A Deal with God. And the prompt is a book mentioned by a TV film character. And what I've picked is either a cheat or meta, depending on how you look at it, and it is The Princess Bride. Because in the frame story, Peter Falk, the grandfather, is reading Princess Bride to his grandson, Fred Savage, who is now 50 years old. I can't believe it. And I listened to the audio that was read by Rob Reiner, the deeply loved and much missed Rob Reiner. The second song is Hounds of Love, and the prompt is a book featuring a four-legged friend. And for that, the no-brainer for me was The Friend by Sigrid Nunez, because it has a Great Dane on the cover. Oh, I love big dogs. And I can prove it because this is my bumper sticker on my car. And this is not really a heartwarming dog story, although the Dane is a big part of it. It's more of a kind of a meditation on books and reading and writing and difficult friendships. And it's a short and lovely book. Number 3 is, the song is The Big Sky, and the book is has to have a sky on the cover. And for that one, I have picked Infinite Jest, the infamous Infinite Jest. And I read this about 13 years ago, and I'm glad I did. I know it's considered very intimidating, and I think mainly for the size. But it has 102,000 ratings on Goodreads, and the average rating is 4.25, which is huge. It's a comedy, and even though there are many places where there are walls of words, they are very beautifully written and entertaining and wonderful words and sentences and paragraphs. And I would highly recommend it. I would suggest trying it maybe even twice, like I did the first time I DNF'd, and the second time I loved it. Number 4, the song is Mother Stands for Comfort, and the prompt is a book with a parent-child relationship. And for that I have Terrestrial History by Joe Mungo Reed. What a great name. So this is actually 2 sets of parent-child relationships. It starts out in 2025 with a woman scientist, and then it towards the end, it goes not in a linear way, but back and forth a little bit in a really good way, all the way up to 2124-ish, and with her great-grandson, who actually winds up meeting his great-great-grandmother, the scientist. So, in a sense, it is a time travel story, but I wouldn't even really say it's a time travel story. That it's just part of the plot that happens. It's really, I wouldn't even call it science fiction in a way. It is a climate change novel, and a really beautiful one, I thought. The next song is called Cloud Busting, and the prompt is a book where psychology or psychoanalysis is important. And I've picked The Strange Case of Jane O, and the author is Karen Thompson Walker, and I've been meaning to read her for a long time. Also listened to this on audio, and it was great. The story alternates between 2 points of view. One is Jane O, and she is a new mother, but she is experiencing strange fugue states and amnesia and hallucinations, and it also takes place during the pandemic in New York City. And so she goes to see a psychiatrist, and the story alternates between their 2 points of view. And you learn a lot about the psychiatrist and his life as well as hers. And there are no easy answers to this, but it is a wonderful character-driven kind of a speculative mystery. And I really loved it. All right, we're up to the 6th song, and that is And Dream of Sheep. And the prompt is a book that sent you to sleep or about sleep or sheep. And the book that I picked was Pastoral. And it's written by Alexis, who's a Canadian writer. He is probably best known for his book 15 Dogs, which I think won the Giller Prize. And this is Pastoral, big surprise. And what a gorgeous cover. My God, that sheep. And the plot of this story starts with a priest or minister, pastor, I'm not sure what you call him, but he is sent to a small Canadian town. It's his very first placing after the seminary, and this is a tiny town, 1,100 people, excluding the sheep. And in the story, you get to meet some of the townspeople, the ups and downs of their lives. They are amusing and quirky and just like regular people. And what I liked best about this was it had such a wry and not sweet exactly, but just sort of a wry and thoughtful tone. It reminded me a little bit of Barbara Pym writing, but with a little more bite to it than that. Right. Song number 7 is Under Ice, and the prompt is a winter book or one that takes place underwater. And I picked a winter book, at least partially a winter book, and it's called China Mountain Zhang, and it is science fiction. It was written about 30 years ago and won a ton of awards at the time, and I've always been really intrigued by this title, so I finally picked it up last year. So it is set in the 22nd century, where China is the dominant country in the world and dominating militarily, financially, and culturally as well. And the U.S. is kind of a backwater. And so it starts by following a young man called Raphael Zhang, who wants to be an engineer, but he lives in New York City, but he loses his job and his apartment when he refused to date the boss's daughter because he's gay. And I think if this book was written later, that probably wouldn't be a plot point, but there were more closets, I guess, in the 90s. And so one thing that never changes, he decides to go to the Arctic. There's a job offer in the Arctic that's really unpleasant, so it pays a lot of money, and he takes that, Baffin Island, and after that, he manages in a couple of years to win a coveted scholarship to a university in Beijing. And we follow him, but we also follow the people who are in his lives, his friends and stuff. And one of his friends is a cyber, what are they called? Cyber kite racer. And cyber kite racing is kind of a combination of horse racing, so in a way they're a jockey, combined with Quidditch, so up in the air. It's a very dangerous sport and the most popular sport in the world. So we follow that guy. We follow an organic engineer, and one nice thing about this book is it's really imaginative about where engineering can go in the far future. It also follows a retired female soldier who is on Mars on an agricultural farm. And it is great sci-fi writing in that you kind of forget you're reading a book. It just really conveys the characters and plot. And it's great world building, but also definitely a character-driven novel. Song number 8 is Waking the Witch. And the prompt is a book featuring witches or witch hunts. And for that, I picked The Hounding by Xenobe Purvis. And this takes place in the early 18th century in a village in England. where 5 sisters live with their grandfather. They're orphaned, and in this little village, people look at them very suspiciously because they're very insular. They don't really interact much with other people, and they think they're very strange. And a major drought is gripping the town, is gripping England at this time, and so it puts everyone on edge, and things kind of get out of hand with the sisters because some rumors start going around that they have this satanic power of turning into dogs. And so it's something of a witch hunt novel, although it's very sharp, very intense, and it has twists and goes places that you wouldn't ordinarily imagine. Prompt or song number 9 is Watching You Without Me, and the prompt is a nightmarish book. So this is not one of my favorite types of books, not a big fan of nightmares, but I did think of one that I read when I was 13, and that's The Exorcist, and I had to sleep with the light on for about a week after that. And I'm over that now, but that's all I need to say about that book. 10, the 10th song is Jig of Life, and the prompt is a hopeful book. And for that one, I picked Finding Me by Viola Davis. I don't normally read memoirs or autobiographies, and especially not of celebrities, but I have made an exception for this book, and I'm really glad I did. She is one of my favorite actors, and she just seems like such a thoughtful and powerful person, and she really is. You can see that in the book. And she had a very difficult childhood. She grew up in a very dysfunctional household, and from there she went on to be a struggling actor in New York. So she's had to withstand a lot, and she has thrived, and she brings us her beautiful art. And she is a really good writer too, just very honest, very forthright. Okay, the 11th song is called Hello Earth, and the prompt is a book not set on Earth. And for that, I picked a novella. I picked a novella that was nominated for the Ursula Le Guin Prize, and actually won another prize selected by Ali Smith, who's one of my favorite writers. And it is called Earth. And in fact, there are 2 Earths on here. There's Earth and Earth. So it starts out on the first Earth, and the main character is Magnus. And he lives in a village, and I sort of pictured it as a kind of a Thomas Hardy style village. But they do have some technology, although they're not real industrialized. But this planet is having problems. They have fertility problems, and their population is declining. And so when a second planet is discovered, the other Earth, Magnus goes to the big city, trains and becomes an astronaut, and travels to Earth, the Earth with a U, to see if this civilization has any solutions for them. And I'll just say, Earth was not what he expected, and he is there many, many, many years before he can go back. All right, now the last song is called Morning Fog, and it's the prompt is a book about being rescued, or about fog, or makes you happy to be alive, or featuring dancing, or about Kate Bush. And so I went for Happy to Be Alive, and the book I picked is Someone Who Will Love You in All Your Damaged Glory by Raphael Bob-Waksberg. And this is a book of short stories that is just utterly, utterly charming. And really, the title kind of gives you the flavor of the book. And I love this little guy, maybe George Washington or King George III. And he's got his sign that's written in kind of Donald Trump Sharpie font. And these are all stories about people who've been hurt in love but are still trying to give it another chance. And it's great blurbs on the back, but 2 in particular, what a coincidence. They're written by Raphael, Bob-Waksberg's grandmothers, and they really liked this book. What do I want to tell you about? Oh, he was also the creator of BoJack Horseman, and if you're not familiar, it was an animated series that was really creative, really unusual, and it's probably, it's I don't know, might be like 10 years old, so you can probably even get it at a public library, but it was really terrific. And so these stories, they range from 2 pages to, I don't know, maybe 15. They're not very long. If you get it, I would say just to read the first story. It's 2 pages long, and the title, let me find it here. The title is Salted Circus Cashews Swear to God. And it is just a great story. I read that one, and then I was just all in. And his writing is also really, it's this combination of funny and tender that I just love. So I just want to read you a short paragraph that kind of gives the flavor of his writing. And it's from a short story called Move Across the Country. And it's about someone who was very sad where he lived, so he moved across the country to start a new life. And the paragraph starts with, "You have friends now, a routine, a coffee shop where someone as you saunter in smiles and says, the usual? One night at a bar, late, you pick up a hobby of a person that somehow grows into a habit. A person whose flaws sparkle off yours in glorious coruscating patterns. A person who gets to know not just the you sometimes show, but the you truly are. A person who, when you weren't looking, slipped a naked, wounded heart into the pocket of your jacket with a bow and a note that said, handle with care." So that's my tag. I'm going to tag some other people. If anyone out there would like to do your own tag, that would be great. You want to start a channel, give it a shot. And I think that's all I have to say. So take care. Thank you. Be well, be kind, be good. Bye.